Have you ever wondered how people take these amazing photos of these awesome looking cars? Photos have a way of capturing a moment, and what better way to capture a sleek looking car than a photo? I have been taking photos like this for about a year now. It's getting close to there. And today I'll be teaching you the three main principles that have helped me the best throughout, this journey. And that'll be the background, the time of the day for the photo, and the settings. So, the background. This could vary. So, a good background should be, complemented towards your car. A nice background to complement your car, make it stand out. Nicholas Gooden says that locations matter in photography. It is best to choose a background that makes your car stand out best. Like the jungle for an off-roading truck, or like the beaches, the sand dunes, or like a race track for a race car. Well, after figuring out the location of your photo, it's best to figure out what time you're going to be taking that photo in. So, professional photographer Desmond Lowe states that heading out during the middle of the day is often terrible for these photos, and it can sometimes even ruin the photo completely. It is best to go before sunrise or after sunset. Being in the middle of the day when the light's shining out and there's not enough shadow for the car to stand out, it can really hurt your photo. And sometimes it can completely ruin the whole shoot. So after you figured out your time of day, it's time to figure out the settings you need to be using for, your photo. So I'll be explaining most of these categories in, this timely manner. So exposure, contrast, highlights, shadows, whites, these all have to do with the lighting of the photo. You can easily change, how bright the photo is going to be, how dark it is. And so, this is a moodier picture, so I'm gonna be going with a lower exposure, so like around 40. And the contrast through these black and whites will be a little bit higher, so I can get kind of popping, so 5. Now highlights, I'm gonna be turning that down to -10. And shadows, I will be bringing that up because this is a darker photo. And since this is a darker photo, you want more of the shadows to pop out. So I'm going to be changing that up a lot. So I think 70 should be good. And now that we moved on to the whites and blacks, you kind of want to have more, depending on the light of your photo. If you have a brighter photo, you want to go with a little bit more whites. If you have a darker photo, go with more blacks. So I'm going to be changing this to like 10-ish. And I'm going to be turning down the blacks to like 30, 25. So somewhere around here. Okay. Now color. Color can be very complicated in a photo. You can remove colors completely, add new ones to the photo that weren't even there. As you can see right now, I can remove the hue of the red and change it to purple, orange. But right now, beginner, you don't know what that is. It's too complex for you, so you don't want to touch it at all. Just leave it and don't mess with it until you have a feeling that you need to change the color in some photos, like an autumn picture or something. So for the temperature, I'm gonna go 0. You don't wanna have it looking like a rave party in there, but you also don't wanna have it to be colorless and boring. So tint, we don't wanna be boring and colorless, so we're gonna bring that up to around 10, 15-ish. So 15 looks great. Vibrance can also be turned up to 15 as well. And we're not gonna mess with saturation right now because it's a darker photo. So saturation, it's not gonna work. Well, it can, but it shouldn't work sometimes. That's what I'm trying to say. But, if you feel like making your car stand out more in the dark or whatever the object is that the focus is on. If you want to make it stand out more in the dark or more or less in the light, you can either turn it up or turn it down. So right now I'm messing with texture and clarity. So texture is bringing up the details in the photo. So making the curves stand out more, making the lights pop out, reflections in the waters, just, you know, the good stuff that adds to the photo. So this is really where the magic happens. So I'm gonna be turning it up to around 30. You don't want to overdo the texture because then it looks gritty. It looks like there's too much going on. So right now, look, I have it at 100. This is a simple photo, so it doesn't look too bad. But my instincts are always telling me to go lower than I think, because having too much going on in a photo can really ruin it, no matter how good your photography skills are. It can really bring down the photo's vibrance by a lot. It can ruin photos sometimes. And clarity is how well do you want to see these details. So since it is a darker photo, I am going to bring it up by a lot. So 60, 70-ish. So 70 looks good. And there we have it. That is the photo that we ended up with. And honestly, before and after, this looks really great. You can tell the difference. It may not be that much difference, but it's that much difference to make it really stand out more, if you know what I mean. Now that I've taught you guys to, you know, take photos like this, it's best to keep in mind that these settings aren't gonna work for every photo. It's better to experiment around with the photo that you have than rather to copy the work of someone else and expect it to be the same on your own. That's not how taking photos work. The lighting's not gonna be the same. The lines aren't gonna be the same. It's not gonna always work for your photos. So experiment. Take every chance you get to practice. Practice always and always makes perfect. You can only get better with practice.